Good evening. These two are the homework problems for today, PreCal, January 23rd. We're going to work these two problems. Number 32 and 33. Looking back at this, we've been talking about different tree equation. This was the last type that we learned, was the equation that had the number in front of theta. Okay, the number in front of theta. So remember, the first step you do on these is you're going to just kind of temporarily ignore that 3 and just say sine theta equals negative 1. And think, where does sine theta equal negative 1? Remember your major points. Sine of theta equals here at 3 pi over 2. Okay, now I'm going to bring that back into the picture. 3 theta equals 3 pi over 2. Plus, this is sine, we're dealing with 2 pi n. Now, I'm going to divide by 3. When I divide by 3, that's the same thing as like multiplying by 1/3. It's going to affect the denominator. So that's be 3 pi over 6 plus 2 pi. Remember, you're dividing this by 3 as well. This by 3 as well. We didn't have one that looked like that, but the same concept, you're dividing by 3, everything by 3. I can reduce this. Theta equals pi over 2 plus 2 pi over 3 times n. I'm going to let n equal 0. N equals 0. If I let that be 0, all that would be theta would equal pi over 2, because all that would go away. So that's an answer. I'm going to let n equal 1, so I'm going to plug that in. Theta equals pi over 2 plus 2 pi over 3 times 1. Well, that would give me pi over 2 plus 2 pi over 3. You could plug that in the calculator. 1/2 and 2 pi over 3. See what you get. Plug that in the calculator. You should get 7 pi over 6. 6 goes in 7 one time with a little left over, so theta equals 7 pi over 6. I'm going to plug n equals 2. Theta equals pi over 2 plus 2 pi over 3 times 2. That gives me pi over 2 plus 4 pi over 3. 2 times 2 pi over 3 is 4 pi over 3. Plug it in the calculator, see what you get. You get it. $11 pi over 6. Common denominator 6. Plug this calculator. 2 pi times 3 is 2. That's 4 pi over 3. 4/3 plus 1/2 equals 11 pi over 6. 6 goes in 11. One time with 5. It does not go over to the 2. So that's an answer. So you got 11 pi over 6, 7 pi over 6, and pi over 2. if this is already 11 pi over 6, if we try n over 3, that's going to put it over. But let's just show. I'm going to show over here on this blank piece of paper. If I plug n equals 3 in, okay, 2 times 3 is 6, over 3 is plus 2 pi, and 1/2 plus 2 is going to give you something over 2. So that's why you can't go any past. These are your three answers: pi over 2, 7 pi over 6, and 11 pi over 6. Alright, let's look at the next one. We're going to rewrite that as tangent 1/2 theta equals negative 1. We're going to start off ignoring that 1/2. Tangent of theta equals negative 1. Now, we have to think, where does it give you a negative 1 tangent? That's y divided by x. That is not one of the major points. That's one of your reference angles, right? It's pi over 4. And since this is negative, that means quadrants 2 and 4. So what family members come from 2 and 4? That is 3 pi over 4 is in quadrant 2. And 7 pi over 4 is in quadrant 4. Now I'm going to take both of them. Bring that 1/2 theta back. 1/2 theta equals 3 pi over 4 plus pi n. The reason we're not doing 2 pi n because this is tangent. And then 1/2 theta equals 7 pi over 4 plus pi n. When I divide by this 1/2, I'm really multiplying the numerator by 2 because it flips it. So theta equals 6 pi over 4 plus 2 pi n, which reduces to 3 pi over 2 plus 2 pi n. Okay, I'll let n be 0. I plug 0 in, all that goes away, so theta equals 3 pi over 2. That's one of my answers. N equals 1. If I let n equal 1, 2 pi plus 3 halves. So that, I can look at that, but I'm double checking your calculator if you cannot see that. That gives you 7 over 2, which is outside the interval 2, so that does not work. Now I'm going to come over here, divide by 1/2, that would be multiplying by 2, so that's going to be 14 pi over 4 plus 2 pi n. That reduces to 7 pi over 2. Take a 2 out of both of those. If I let n be 0, that goes out, but still, 2 goes in 7 at least 3 times, so that cannot work. So your only answer here is 3 pi over 2. 3 pi over 2. Okay, those are your homework problems for tonight. This was numbers 32 and 33. I will see you tomorrow.